so I don't have that much in the way of family that I talk to about these things. Uh,
Your
um,
opinion.
but yeah, they are very interested in though in as much as or they want Ukraine to succeed for sure in its political development. But I do have friends at the University of Alberta where I meet with them quite often, and we meet for coffee and have conversations. And one friend in particular who is actually speaks quite good Russian and is more oriented towards Russia. I suggested to him the other day that perhaps all the Slavic nations should unite to form some sort of confederation. Because I believe ultimately that in this world that success depends on unity, and I see present developments in Ukraine as very positive. However, we should be very careful, and Ukrainians should be very careful not to assume that, let's say, that the world is going to accept them and believe in them, because there is a sort of, well, Ukraine has been a country that hasn't developed, and for people to believe in Ukraine, it's going to take a lot of effort on the part of Ukrainians and a lot of determination to prove to the world that they really deserve to be a nation state, and they have to work. Will have to work at it very hard. There are enormous problems that the people are facing because of the past history, the having been under oppression. But I think there is a great advantage Ukrainians have in this, that they do not have not developed internally within themselves an imperialistic mentality as so many other nations have in Western Europe and of course Russia. And so this will stand them in very good stead. Now, what they can do with not having a non-imperialistic mentality as a basis to hopefully work towards establishment of a new governing order in this country. I would hope that one thing that they would certainly, being a Christian country, that they would try to adopt the Christian principles and particularly the teachings of Jesus, because I have found them to be very appropriate to the establishment of good government. And so I hope and pray for Ukraine that things will really work out.
Tell a few words what you're doing here.
Well, I'm a volunteer teacher at Austro University. I specialize in religious studies, and particularly in Bible prophecy, which I regard as essential to understanding how to proceed towards the building of an ideal world order. I know this sounds rather radical, and many people might somewhat reject or consider
right.
it strange, right? But I find that the Bible, if one uses the Bible and Bible prophecy properly, its basis is first of all to prepare us for an eternity, to live in eternity, and to teach us how to arrive at spiritual perfection. And there's also the proper resolution of the struggle between good and evil, in which Jesus Christ actually was working towards the permanent solution of the problem of good and evil, in which evil would be allowed to discredit itself and ultimately prove itself to be dysfunctional. This concept has not yet reached the mentality of, or reached the consciousness of Christians, and I believe that we are now facing a world in which serious problems are now so serious that we need to solve them, or humanity will find itself in an ever greater crisis, and we will enter into a state of, how should we say, a total dysfunctionality. I really think that what's going on right now in Ukraine is extremely important. At last, the Ukrainian people will are achieving the independence that they have longed for, and I think that actually the past suffering and oppression will benefit them very greatly, even though that it has caused, we could say, some sort of like spiritual and even psychological damage. But in as much, maybe I should qualify that statement. Yes, because the thing is that people lose confidence in themselves and belief in themselves, and it's difficult sometimes. And then when people get frustrated, they can become irrational. And also, there's the tendency that to assume an unwarranted importance. Oh, we have a revolution now. Look, as the world is watching us, and to think, oh, we're going to impress the world with what we're going to do. That's a very
that's not the goal for us, to impress the world.
Oh, okay. That's yes. I don't think it is. But there is this the world is a very can be a very how should we say, people and other the rest of the world can influence us in a way which causes us maybe not to act the way we always want to act. And so Ukrainians, I think, need to exert themselves towards understanding the rest of the world. And I think right now they don't have that understanding. They've been isolated and subjugated.
But, so I have a question for you. Which medias are you using to see the problem? Because you're the English speaking, you don't speak English, you don't speak Russian, so how do you know from
Okay, very good question. Well, yes, at the university there are people that they speak very good English, and so I rely on them quite a little bit for. And I do acknowledge that I probably have some shortcomings in understanding what's actually all taking place. But then I have developed, have a world perspective. I try to look at the whole world and see the whole world, and what is the ideal world we want to live in. And I think that all of the world now and all the people of the world should adopt that particular perspective. And so it's a perspective that we're all citizens of the world. I say, before I can save myself, I must first save the world. And I think Ukrainians have to say the same thing. Before Ukraine can save itself, they have to save the world. You have to understand what is the ideal world you want to live in and work towards that. And then you have to find out who are the people that are opposed to building that ideal world order, and determine, okay, those are the people that are, as it were, going to be the people that are going to become, as it were, the enemy. Because sometimes in this world, people that appear to be your enemy are not necessarily your enemy if you get to understand them, whereas other people that you think, oh, they're so wonderful, they're so good, they may turn out that not to be. So we live in, and I would advise the Ukrainians are now in a situation where they have to, they are now entering into the world community of nations, and I believe they have a very important role to play.
Thank you very much for that.
Yeah, okay,
we appreciate that.
Really?
You agree.
Okay, I know that. Yeah.